switched up the frequency of music notes to control us. Yup, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Spirit School. So I stumbled on this video on Instagram of a woman on a podcast talking about some historical origins of how the frequency of certain music notes were changed for ulterior motives. I've mentioned on here before how music can have an effect on your body, the lyrics too. There's been so much research, so many experiments, demonstrations proving that. I don't know if you've seen videos of people having salt on a table, and when they play certain frequencies, the salt forms these geometric shapes. Yes, because that's what frequency does. I'll talk about sacred geometry. I talked about it in my previous video lightly about source consciousness. Frequency can do that. I'm going to show y'all the video so you can understand what I'm talking about. This is specifically for note A, so check this out.
Our bodies absorb sound and frequencies through every pore. It's not just through our ears. The written words have a frequency that changes the structure of the water molecule. Imagine what lyrics do to our body. In the 1930s, the Rothschild-Rockefeller Alliance, they began funding scientific studies to look at how musical frequencies can prepare the masses for war. And that's because they wanted to control people. They want that mind control programming. And so in 1938, there was a gentleman named Harold Burroughs Meyer, and he was a theatrical designer and a sound engineer. And he began developing techniques that would control the emotional response of audiences and to create mass hysteria. You know, this Rockefeller-Rothschild alliance, what they were doing is not only were they looking at ways to steer the masses, but they wanted to change the standard tuning of A to 440 hertz. So in 1939, they began funding Joseph Goebbels, who was the Nazi propagandist. And at that time, Joseph Goebbels, he wanted to change the standard tuning of A. And so he organized a meeting in London to do that. Now, up until that time, the standard tuning of A was set at 435 hertz, and that was from a conference in Vienna in 1889. But they wanted to shift it to 440 hertz. And so Radio Berlin approached the British Standard Association and asked if they would organize this conference in London, which was a total setup in which, you know, the powers that be had control of what the outcome was going to be. And they didn't invite any of the French musicians because they were opposed to 440 hertz. And then the organizers of the conference, you know, they interviewed musicians, the instrument makers, the physicists, and then also the sound engineers. And if any of those people were against 440 hertz, then they weren't invited to the conference. So it was all controlled. And, you know, as a result, it's not surprising that the standard tuning of A was changed to 440 hertz. And that happened June 1939, just months before World War II broke out. And the timing of that is no coincidence because 440 hertz is a destructive frequency. And that, you know, it can retrain our thoughts towards disharmony, disruption, and disunity.
That's some shit, right? I saw it, I was like, ooh. That makes sense. This is why when you hear certain music outside of, you know, certain artists' performances on stage, you'll see they'll use a lot of symbolism to hypnotize you or to lure you in and create this energetic cord tie between you two, siphoning energy and things like that. Well, music can do the same thing. And she mentioned the hertz, the 435 hertz versus the 440 hertz. Now I went ahead and pulled up both tones so you guys can hear what it sounds like. So the funny thing is you're not going to find that many 440 hertz meditative music. There's a reason for that. There's some, but not a lot. There's more 432 hertz if anything, but not 440. Definitely not. 435 leans closer to 432. But when I meditated on both tones, there is only a 5 hertz difference between both tones. To the naked ear, you may not be able to hear the difference. But close your eyes and I want you to feel each different tone. And I'll tell you what I'm picking up, right? So we'll do it at the same time. I'm not going to tell you which one is which, but here's the first one. Okay? So pay mind to how your body is feeling hearing that tone. Now here's the second tone. Got it? Did you feel a difference between both tones in your body? Forget the hearing. In your body. I'm going to tell you exactly which one's which, okay? So the first one I played was the 435 hertz, which is the original frequency that A was supposed to be before it got switched out for other agendas. When I was listening to 435, I felt, I'll do it again, I'll explain real time. So what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing is like our cells coming together like this in harmony. Very smoothly too, coming together. And I feel it in my system. I feel it in my body. It feels like my body's coming in like this to form together into a balanced state. Versus the 440 hertz. I'm getting chills. Right now, what I'm feeling and seeing is the cells separating, going like this. Like my body right now feels like it's being split even down the middle like this. What I'm doing, what I'm showing you, going like this. This is what it's feeling like. Like the cells are separating and repelling from each other. You already know I've been in music for damn near 2 decades. The majority of music, except for some classical, everyone uses the 440 hertz as a standard in their music for note A. The 440 hertz, because it's creating a separation, okay, you guys? I'm saying because it's causing separation, it's allowing to whatever hidden motives the powers that were have to come in and plant subliminal ideas through whatever devices, through the phone, television, media, news, whatever, however way, music, right? They're able to manipulate your frequency because of the specific hertz. That's what happens, right? If something's coming together like this, right? Look at my hands. There's nothing to come in between it, right? There's no room. But if there's separation, the more separation there is, the more you can fill it up with whatever you want. That can be thoughts, ideas, feelings through outside sources. So frequency and energy, as I always say, is a real thing because it is. It's not a woo-woo fucking concept. We are made of energy. You break open the cells, we're made of atoms. You break open the atoms, it's pure energy. So our bodies are going to be affected by it, from not only because our bodies are 70% water, but even down to the molecules of the water is made of energy. Imagine an artist, musician, not only playing something at this frequency if they have an agenda, but also what they're saying and visuals at the same time. Music is a universal language in a sense, right? Everyone listens to music, whatever type of music that is. Because of that, it creates an easier pathway for the powers that were to jump in and fill in those gaps because there's separation created already through other types of resources to mobilize their agenda. All done through frequency.